The unseen threat within. Hey there, listener. Ready to dive into something that'll shake the way you see the world? I'm about to take you on a journey through the mind of Carl Jung, one of the greatest thinkers to ever unravel the human psyche. This isn't just some dusty psychology lesson. It's a wake-up call about the most dangerous kind of person out there. And no, it's not who you think. It's not the loud bully or the scheming mastermind. Jung's warning is way sneakier and way closer to home. He believed the real danger lies in something we all carry, a hidden part of ourselves we refuse to face. Picture this. You're walking through life, thinking you've got it all figured out, but there's a shadow trailing you, one you don't even see. That shadow, Jung said, can turn you into a threat without you ever knowing. Scary, right? I remember the first time I heard this idea. It hit me like a cold splash of water. I started wondering, am I blind to my own darkness? Are you? Jung spent his life studying the mind, and he knew that what we ignore inside ourselves doesn't just vanish. It grows, festers, and eventually spills into the world. This script is about uncovering that danger, not to scare you, but to empower you. We're going to explore why the most dangerous people aren't the ones we fear, but the ones who fear themselves the least. So buckle up. Let's dive into Jung's world and face the truth together. That tingling in your chest, that's your curiosity waking up, ready for what's next. The hidden danger. What makes someone truly dangerous? It's the question that keeps you up at night, isn't it? We imagine villains with evil grins, but Carl Jung, the sage of the psyche, saw something else. He said the most dangerous person isn't the one with power or malice. It's the one who's blind to their own darkness. It's not about what they do, it's about what they don't see. Imagine someone walking through life, oblivious to the storm inside them, anger, envy, fear, all bottled up, ready to explode. That's the danger Jung warned about. I've met people like this, a co-worker who seemed calm but spread chaos with subtle jabs, or a friend who always played the victim but never looked inward. At first, you don't notice the threat. They're not loud or obvious, but that's the point. Their ignorance is their weapon. Jung wrote, "Man is the great danger, and we are pitifully unaware of it." And that line gives me chills every time. It's like a whisper from the universe, urging us to wake up. Think about your own life. Have you ever snapped at someone and later realized it wasn't about them? That's the shadow peeking out. The dangerous ones, though? They never make that connection. They keep projecting their flaws onto the world, leaving a trail of hurt. This isn't just theory, it's real. Feel that knot in your stomach. That's your gut saying, pay attention. We're all capable of harm, but those who refuse to see it, they're the ones we need to watch. Let's keep going. This is just the start. Meet the shadow now. Let's get to the heart of it. The shadow. Jung's term for the part of you that you'd rather hide. It's the envy that stabs when your friend lands a dream job. It's the rage that flares when someone cuts you off. It's the selfish urge you shove down, pretending it's not there. We all have a shadow. It's what makes us human. But here's the catch. Ignoring it is like ignoring a fire in your house. It doesn't go away. It spreads. I remember a time I got mad at my sister for no good reason. Later, I realized I was upset because I felt stuck in my own life. That was my shadow, whispering truths I didn't want to hear. Jung said the shadow is like a locked box in your mind, stuffed with every ugly impulse you've ever had. Pretend it's not there, and it grows heavier, darker, until it bursts open. I've seen this in others too, a friend who'd lash out and blame everyone but himself. At first, I thought he was just moody. Then I saw the pattern. He never admitted his own flaws. That's the danger zone. Jung warned that denying your shadow doesn't make you saintly, it makes you unpredictable. It's like carrying a loaded gun you don't know is in your pocket. Feel that unease creeping in? That's your shadow saying, "Notice me." Don't run from it. Jung's not asking you to love your darkness, just to see it. Because if you don't, it's got a way of taking over. Chapter 3, The Lie We Tell Ourselves. Here's where things get messy and honest. Jung said we don't just ignore our shadow, we project it onto others. Ever get furious at someone and think they're the problem, only to realize you're mad at yourself? That's projection, and it's a trap we all stumble into. I had a co-worker who drove me up the wall, always late, always half doing her job. I'd rant about her to anyone who'd listen. Then one day it hit me like a brick. I was stressed because I was slipping on my own tasks. She was just an easy scapegoat. Projection feels good, like scratching an itch. It lets you dodge the hard truth. But Jung knew it's a lie we tell ourselves, and it's dangerous. When we project, we turn friends into enemies, co-workers into rivals, even strangers into threats. I've seen families torn apart because someone couldn't say, "This is my baggage." Jung believed this is how conflicts start. Not just personal ones, but the big ones, like wars and feuds. Think about it. How much of the world's chaos comes from people pointing fingers instead of looking inward? That thought hits like a punch, doesn't it? It's heavy, but it's also a chance to change. The next time you're mad at that person, pause. Ask yourself, is this about them or is it about me? That question stings, but it's the key to breaking the cycle. Feel that spark of clarity. Hold on to it. We're getting somewhere. The quiet threat now, let's talk about the scariest part. Jung didn't point to screaming tyrants as the most dangerous people. He pointed to the quiet ones, the ones who seem calm, charming, even righteous. They're your neighbor who smiles but gossips viciously. They're the leader who preaches unity but sows division. What makes them dangerous? They're blind to their shadow. They've buried it so deep, they think they're flawless. I knew someone like this, a friend who always played the victim. Every fight, every fallout was someone else's fault. At first, I bought her story, but over time I saw the truth. She never took responsibility. That's the quiet threat Jung warned about. These people don't look dangerous, and that's what makes them so deadly. Their denial is a mask, hiding a storm inside. Jung wrote, "The greatest danger comes from the unconscious," and that line sends shivers down my spine. It's not the obvious villains we should fear. It's the ones who don't know they're carrying chaos. I've felt this in my own life too. I used to think I was above certain flaws, but then I'd catch myself judging others for things I was guilty of. That realization was like a cold shower. The quiet threat isn't just out there. It's in us too if we're not careful. Feel that chill. That's your instinct saying, wake up. Let's keep peeling back the layers. Why it matters. You might be wondering, okay, this shadow stuff is intense, but why should I care? Here's the answer. This isn't just about one person. It's about all of us. Jung believed the world's biggest problems, wars, hatred, division, start with individuals who refuse to face their shadows. Think about history. How many conflicts began because someone projected their fear or greed onto the enemy? It's not just global, it's personal. That family feud that's been simmering for years. That blowout with your partner over something small. Chances are someone's shadow was calling the shots. I've been there, blaming my stress on everyone else, only to realize I was dodging my own insecurities. It's humbling, but it's also a wake-up call. Jung's point is that if we don't deal with our inner darkness, we're not just hurting ourselves, we're hurting everyone around us. I remember a time I lashed out at a friend because I was overwhelmed. Later I apologized and we talked it out. That moment taught me how projection can break bonds, or how owning it can heal them. This matters because we're all connected. Every time you ignore your shadow, you add a little more chaos to the world. But every time you face it, you make things better. That thought hits hard, doesn't it? It's like a weight on your chest, but also a light breaking through. We can change the world, one shadow at a time. The everyday danger. Let's bring this closer to home. The shadow isn't some lofty concept. It's in your everyday life. That co-worker who stirs drama but acts innocent. Shadow. The friend who's never wrong and makes you feel small. Shadow. These aren't evil people, just folks who haven't faced their truth. I had a boss once who'd criticize everyone but never admitted his own mistakes. It created a toxic vibe, and I dreaded going to work. That's the everyday danger Jung talked about. It's not always loud or dramatic. It's the slow drip of blame, denial, and projection that wears you down. And here's the twist. We're not immune. I've snapped at people because I was stressed, not because they did anything wrong. One time, I got mad at my roommate for leaving dishes out, but really, I was upset about a bad day at work. Owning that was tough, but it saved our friendship. Jung's genius is showing us we're all part of this dance. The question is, will you keep dodging your shadow or will you face it? I've seen what happens when people don't. Relationships crumble, teams fall apart, families fracture. But I've also seen the magic of owning your stuff. It's like clearing the air after a storm. That choice feels heavy, doesn't it? It's like standing at a crossroads, knowing one path leads to growth and the other to chaos. Which will you choose? Jung's wake-up call. Jung didn't just point out the problem, he gave us a way out. He called it individuation, the journey of facing your shadow and integrating it into who you are. It's not about becoming perfect, it's about becoming whole. Sounds simple, but it's raw and real. It means looking at your worst impulses, jealousy, anger, shame, and saying, yeah, that's me. I tried this after a fight with my sibling. I was furious, but when I sat down and dug deep, I realized I was projecting my own fears of failure onto them. It was a gut-wrenching moment, but also freeing. Jung said this work is the key to breaking the cycle of projection and harm. It's like cleaning out a cluttered attic. You don't love the mess, but once it's sorted, you feel lighter. I've seen this in others too, a friend who owned his temper and became a better listener. It's not easy. Some days you'll want to run from the truth. But every step toward your shadow is a step toward freedom. Jung's wake-up call is for all of us. Stop hiding, start healing. That idea sparks something in me, hope, but also urgency. We can't wait for the right moment to do this work. The world needs us to start now. Feel that courage rising? That's your inner voice saying, you're ready. The choice is yours. This is where it gets personal. You're at a crossroads right now. You can keep pretending you've got it all together, projecting your struggles onto others. It's tempting. It feels safe. But Jung's warning is clear. That path leads to trouble. Or you can take the harder road. Pause, look inside. Ask, what am I avoiding? I've stood here, and let me tell you, choosing honesty is scary, but transformative. One time, I apologized to a friend for overreacting, admitting I was stressed about my own stuff. It wasn't fun, but it saved our friendship. Jung's betting on you to make the brave choice. Because the alternative, it's a slow slide into becoming the danger he warned about. I've seen it happen. People who refuse to look inward end up isolated, bitter, or worse. But I've also seen the other side. People who face their shadows grow stronger, kinder, more real. It's like shedding a heavy coat you didn't know you were wearing. This choice isn't just about you, it's about everyone you touch. Every time you own your shadow, you make the world a little safer. That thought makes my heart race. It's like a call to arms. You've got the power to change the script. Will you take it? Feel that fire in your chest. That's your chance to be the hero of your own story. A world transformed by truth. Imagine a world where we all faced our shadows. No more dodging, no more blaming. Just raw, honest truth. Carl Jung believed this wasn't just a fantasy, it was a possibility. Picture fewer arguments, less resentment, more connection. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. I saw this once at a family dinner. Tensions were high, everyone pointing fingers. Then my cousin admitted he was stressed and taking it out on us. That one confession shifted everything. Suddenly we were talking, really talking. Jung's vision is like that moment, scaled up. When we own our shadows, we stop projecting our pain onto others. I've tried this myself, admitting to a friend I was jealous of their new job. Instead of judgment, they shared their own struggles, and we bonded deeper. It's like a weight lifts when you stop hiding. But here's the hard part. It takes courage. Facing your shadow means seeing things you'd rather ignore. Your pettiness, your fears. I've had nights staring at the ceiling, wrestling with my own flaws. It's tough, but it's worth it. Jung said the shadow isn't your enemy, it's part of you. Embracing it doesn't make you weak, it makes you whole. Imagine a world where we all did this. Schools teaching kids to name their emotions. Leaders admitting their mistakes. Families healing old wounds. That thought gives me goosebumps. It's like a spark in the dark. But it starts with you. One honest moment can ripple outward, changing everything. Feel that hope rising. That's the world Jung dreamed of, and it's within reach. The mirror of self-awareness. Jung's challenge is simple but brutal. Look in the mirror, not the one in your bathroom, but the one in your mind. Self-awareness is the antidote to the shadow's danger. I learned this the hard way. I used to get annoyed at a co-worker's constant bragging, but then I realized I was insecure about my own work. That moment of clarity stung, but it changed me. Jung said we can't grow until we see ourselves clearly, flaws and all. It's like cleaning a foggy window. Suddenly, you see the world differently. But here's the catch: mirrors don't lie, and that scares us. I've dodged my reflection plenty of times, blaming others for my bad moods. It's easier, right? But Jung knew easy doesn't lead to growth. Self-awareness takes guts. Try this. Next time you're upset, ask, what's this really about? I did that once during a fight with my partner. Turns out I wasn't mad at them. I was stressed about a deadline. Admitting that diffused the tension. Jung believed this practice could transform not just you, but everyone around you. Imagine a team where everyone owns their stuff. No gossip, just honesty. That's the power of the mirror. It's not about shame, it's about freedom. Feel that spark of courage. That's your mind saying, I can do this. Jung's handing you the mirror. Will you look? The ripple effect: one person facing their shadow can change the world. Sounds dramatic, but Jung believed it. Your choices don't just affect you, they ripple outward. I saw this at work once. I admitted I'd messed up a project, expecting criticism. Instead, my team rallied, sharing their own mistakes. We fixed it together, stronger than before. That's the ripple effect. When you own your shadow, you give others permission to do the same. Jung said our unconscious drives so much of what we do: hurt, love, fight. But when we bring it to light, we shift the dynamic. I've seen it in friendships too. When I apologized for snapping at a friend, they opened up about their own stress. We ended up laughing, closer than ever. These moments aren't small, they're seismic. Jung's point is that every act of courage, every honest confession, plants a seed. Imagine a community where this is the norm. No one's perfect, but everyone's trying. That thought makes my heart race. It's like seeing a better world take shape. But it's not automatic. You have to choose it. Next time you're tempted to blame someone, pause. Own your part. Watch how it changes the room. Feel that excitement. That's the power of your ripple. Jung's counting on you to start the wave. The cost of denial. Let's talk about what happens when you ignore your shadow. Jung was clear. Denial doesn't make it disappear. It makes it stronger. I've seen this in action. A relative of mine always blamed others for their problems, job losses, fights, you name it. Over time, they became bitter, isolated. It was painful to watch. Jung said denial is like letting a weed grow in your mind. At first, it's small, but soon it chokes everything else. I've felt this myself. Once, I refused to admit I was jealous of a friend's success. That resentment built until I barely recognized myself. Projection is denial's ugly twin, blaming others for what's yours. Jung warned this can spiral into chaos, from personal grudges to global conflicts. Think about it. How many wars started because someone couldn't face their own fear? It's heavy, I know. But here's the flip side. Every time you deny your shadow, you're choosing a path that hurts you and others. I've had to catch myself, like when I got mad at a stranger for cutting me off. It wasn't about them, it was my stress. Owning that felt like breaking a spell. Jung's warning isn't meant to scare you, it's meant to wake you up. The cost of denial is too high. Feel that urgency. That's your chance to choose differently. The power of vulnerability. Jung's ideas point to something unexpected. Vulnerability is strength. Facing your shadow means admitting you're not perfect, and that's terrifying. But it's also powerful. I learned this when I told a friend I felt like a failure. I braced for pity, but they shared their own doubts. That honesty brought us closer. Jung said vulnerability is the gateway to individuation, becoming whole. It's not about wallowing, it's about owning your truth. I've seen this in others too. A colleague once admitted they were overwhelmed. Instead of judgment, the team stepped up. That's the magic of vulnerability. It builds trust. Jung believed hiding our flaws makes us dangerous, but showing them makes us human. It's like opening a window in a stuffy room. But it's hard. I've hesitated, worried people would think less of me. They didn't. They respected me more. Imagine a world where vulnerability is normal, leaders admitting errors, friends sharing fears. That thought fills me with hope, like a warm glow. Jung's not asking you to bare your soul to everyone, just to start with yourself. Try it. Name one flaw you've been hiding. Feel that release? That's the power Jung's talking about. Vulnerability isn't weakness, it's your superpower. The role of community. Jung knew we don't face our shadows alone. Community matters. When we share our struggles, we create space for others to do the same. I saw this at a group therapy session once. One person shared their fear of failure, and suddenly everyone was opening up. It was like a dam breaking. Jung believed humans are connected. What one does affects the whole. A community that encourages honesty can heal wounds and prevent harm. I've felt this in my own life. When I admitted to friends I was struggling, they didn't judge. They listened. That support gave me strength to keep going. But communities can also enable denial. Think of groups that scapegoat others instead of looking inward. Jung warned this amplifies the shadow's danger. A healthy community does the opposite. It holds a mirror gently. Imagine a workplace where people say, "I messed up," and others say, "Let's fix it." That's the world Jung envisioned. It starts with you being real. Next time you're with friends, share something true. Watch how it shifts the vibe. Feel that warmth. That's community at work, helping you face your shadow. Jung's saying you don't have to do this alone. The shadow in relationships are where the shadow shows up most. Jung said our closest bonds, friends, family, partners, are mirrors for our unconscious. I've seen this. I used to get mad at my partner for small things, like leaving dishes out. Then I realized I was projecting my own stress. Owning that changed our dynamic. Jung believed relationships suffer when we deny our shadows. That friend who always criticizes you, they might be dodging their own flaws. I had a friend like that, always pointing out my mistakes, but never theirs. It strained our bond until I called it out gently. They didn't change overnight, but it started a conversation. Jung's point is that projection poisons connection, but honesty heals it. When you admit your part in a conflict, you open the door to understanding. I've tried this, apologizing for my role in a family argument. It wasn't easy, but it brought us closer. Imagine relationships where both sides own their shadows. No blame, just growth. That thought makes my heart swell. It's like seeing love in action. But it takes work. Next time you're in a fight, pause. Ask, what's my shadow doing here? That question can save a bond. Feel that hope? That's Jung's gift to your relationships. The shadow and creativity. Here's a twist. Your shadow isn't just a problem. It's a source of creativity. Jung believed our darkest parts fuel art, music, stories. Think of the best songs. Don't they come from pain, struggle, truth? I've felt this myself. When I was angry about a setback, I wrote a poem. It wasn't pretty, but it was real, and it helped me process. Jung said artists tap into their shadows to create beauty. But if you deny your shadow, you block that spark. I knew a painter who stopped creating because they wouldn't face their grief. When they finally did, their work came alive. The shadow holds raw energy, anger, fear, longing. Channel it, and you unlock something powerful. Jung's own writings, full of vivid myths, came from wrestling with his shadow. You don't have to be an artist to use this. Next time you're upset, try writing, drawing, or even talking it out. I did this once, journaling about a betrayal. It turned my pain into clarity. Imagine a world where we all used our shadows this way, creating instead of destroying. That idea lights me up. It's like a fire in my soul. Your shadow's not just a burden, it's a gift. Feel that excitement? That's Jung inviting you to create. The shadow in leadership. Leaders shape the world, and Jung knew their shadows can make or break it. A leader who denies their flaws, pride, fear, greed, can cause chaos. I've seen this. A manager I worked for blamed the team for every failure, never themselves. It tanked morale. Jung said leaders who project their shadows create division, even disaster. History's full of examples, tyrants who scapegoated others to hide their own insecurities. but a leader who faces their shadow. That's a game changer. I had a boss who admitted they'd been too harsh. It earned our respect, and we worked harder. Jung believed self-aware leaders inspire trust and growth. They don't pretend to be perfect, they model honesty. Imagine a world with leaders like that, presidents, CEOs, teachers owning their mistakes. That thought gives me chills. It's like seeing hope take charge. But it's not just big leaders. You lead in your own way. At home, at work. Next time you're in charge, check your shadow. Are you blaming others for your stress? I've had to do this, admitting I was unfair to a friend. It shifted everything. Feel that responsibility. That's Jung calling you to lead with truth. The shadow and forgiveness. Forgiveness is tough, but Jung tied it to the shadow. When we hold grudges, we're often projecting our own flaws onto others. I struggled with this. I resented a friend for years over a betrayal, but then I saw I'd hurt others too. Owning my shadow helped me forgive. Jung said forgiveness starts with self-forgiveness, accepting your own darkness. It's not excusing harm, it's freeing yourself. I've seen this in others. A family member forgave their parent after years of anger, but only after facing their own mistakes. It was like watching a wound heal. Jung believed unforgiveness festers, feeding the shadow's power. But when you forgive, starting with yourself, you break that cycle. I tried this, forgiving myself for a career misstep.